Yes.
Yeah. So let me start recording. This is the God's Party Hall of Lanes Radio.com. I'm on the phone line with Lisa Eddie Rimpson. We'll talk with Lisa Eddie Rimpson. We're going to get into her topic, but before we do that, I just want to discuss discussion that I have with two police officers. Now, the police officer was saying, with the police, whatever the police harassment or the police killing of black men in our community, and then also the police people killing police officers these days. So we started talking about that. He was saying that one of the things that should actually happen is that for people to get a fair evaluation is that a lot of people, civilians, should actually ride with police officers just to get to see what they have to go through. Because he said that may help walking in their shoes, or may help people to actually fairly make the right decisions. And then one of the things he was saying is that him being a police officer, now I'm talking to the young black male police officer, he was saying that whether it's a 3-year-old with a gun or a knife or whatever instrument, lethal instrument, he said, or a grandmother, it could be a grandmother, whoever, he said, I don't know what the intent is, whether it's kill or harm, but he said, just imagine you put in a position where somebody threatening your life. He said, what would you do in that moment that you felt threatened? So he was, kind of wanted me to feel some of the decisions that they may have to make. Then the female police officer added that, she said, I wasn't a police officer all my life, and she said, I felt like everybody else, especially in our community. But she said now that she's become a police officer, her perspective had changed because she had to deal with some things. So she said now, looking at it, and she said it's different. And then the black police officer said this to me. He said, the only thing that you may need, all of us need to look at, he said, in the case of the young black man being choked to death, he said the only question that came to his mind was, instead of being a large black male, would the same thing have happened if it was a large white male? He said that's the only question that he kind of had to ask himself and then really evaluate. So what do you think about that, Lisa?
Well, it's funny that you say that because I originally went to school for criminal justice. So I have a background of criminal justice. So, and then working for a number of years in security. So I do understand, and then having several friends who are also police officers. So I do understand and think like they do, and I understand both sides of it. So, and unless you have walked in their shoes, which is so valid, then you don't understand. Because every single moment of the day, they live their life on high alert, on guard.
Right.
Everybody is suspicious. So the difference between you and I sitting in Starbucks enjoying a cup of coffee, which is different for those two sitting in those two police officers sitting in Starbucks enjoying a cup of coffee, because we're just totally probably unaware of our surroundings, whereas they know everybody who walks in the door, they have a split second, you get a description, you don't know, they look suspicious,
right.
That type of thing, that's what you're taught.
Right.
So it is two sides of the fence. So I totally understand that. I get that. And there is, to me, if you look at the record of crimes being committed by some people of color and crimes being committed by others of color, there is a difference. Whereas you can see it every day in the news where somebody could probably insult a police officer, curse them out, shoot up people, and still have the opportunity to make it to a trial. They get arrested, they're apprehended, they go to jail, whereas somebody else is just shot down. And then, where is the, the same
Right.
justice in that?
Right.
So that's, I think, what the whole thing is. Why can't some people make it to a trial and others can't? It seems like their trial ends right there at
Right.
three.
I think that's what the was Brent brought up when he asked that question. When he, I think that's what he was kind of. He didn't give an answer, but he wanted everybody to think about. Okay, let's think about this. If that was a white male, would the same thing have occurred? His question. So you really have to be honest and truthful and say, okay, well maybe there might have been a little different justice for somebody else. So like you said,
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, and one of the things I did like about the female when she actually, I felt the same way that most people in my community have felt until I became an officer, and my perspective changed because I saw I'm living what some of the things you have to go through as a police officer. So I like that answer from her. Both of them was probably their early 20s, late 20s or in early 30s. Both was bright and intelligent and very nice. They both had nice personalities. You could tell they was good-hearted people. So it was a pleasure talking to them for about, I spoke to them about 10 minutes. So it was. All right, Lisa.
Yeah.
We're going to, what's your topic for today?
I have a few. I'm kind of toying back with it. I don't know. I'll know when you come back. What's in my spirit is two different things.
Okay, let's go to music video. Actually, this is part of the TV broadcast that I'm airing. So here we go, Gospel Party TV broadcast.